In the next few minutes, I will show you everything you need to know to use the Insta360 GO Free properly. I'll show you what hidden features it has and how to get the most out of the GO Free. At the same time, I'll tell you what my 10 favorite features of this cool little camera are and show you how they work. One of the great things about the GO Free is that it's very flexible to use and operate. There are 3 ways to operate this camera. The first is through the Insta360 app. Some very special features of this camera, which we'll see a little later, are only available using the app. Once you have installed the Insta360 app, you can connect the camera via the yellow camera icon here below. It doesn't matter if the GO Free is in the action pot or not. As soon as the GO Free is connected, tap the camera icon again to start the preview image. Here you can change all possible settings, start a recording, and see the most important information about the camera and the action pot. The second way to control the GO Free is only using the GO Free. In other words, independently of the smartphone app and the action pot. This means you can switch the GO Free on and off and start and stop recordings without using the action pot or the app. The disadvantage is, of course, that you don't see a preview image. Nevertheless, this type of operation is sometimes necessary and useful, for example underwater. The GO Free has only one button, on the lower front. When you press and hold it, the camera turns on. You can tell by the beep and the bright blue light. Press and hold it again to turn the GO Free off. Regardless of whether it is switched on or off, if you press the button once briefly, the GO Free will start a standard video recording. If you press the button twice, it will start a free-frame video recording. Pressing the button again stops the recording. So press once, standard video recording. Press twice briefly, free-frame video recording. And the difference is extremely important. Unlike a standard video recording, you cannot use a recording you have taken in free-frame mode immediately after it has been taken. You have to import it into the smartphone or desktop app and add it there. This is cumbersome, but you can freely change and adjust the framing and the field of view even after shooting. I'll show you exactly how this works in a moment. By the way, you can change the configuration of the button, that is press once to capture a video and twice to capture a free-frame video with the help of the action pot. And you can also assign other caption modes to the button. And of course, the third way to control the GO Free is with the action pot. When the GO Free is installed in the action pot, it can be operated like a standard action camera using the back display. The menu is simple, and if you've ever used an Insta360 camera before, you'll quickly find your way around. But before we get into the menu and settings, let's take a closer look at the real highlight of the GO Free. The action pot. The GO Free is easily inserted into the action pot by sliding it in sideways. Not only the magnets, but also a locking mechanism prevent it from falling out again when you move the camera. If you want to take it out again, press the small button with the lock here on the side and pull it out by holding it on the sides of the lens guard. The action pot serves several purposes. You can store the small GO Free in it. It charges the battery of the GO Free, and with the help of the buttons and the touch display, you can control the GO Free even when you take the GO Free out. So you can use it like a remote control. There is a USB port under the lock button to charge the action pot. By the way, you can only charge the GO Free in the action pot. On the top is the shutter button to start or stop a recording. And on the right side you will find 2 more buttons. The power button to switch the action pot on and off, and the quick menu button. If you press it once briefly, you can change the shooting mode in the menu. And if you press it longer, you can call up presets so that you don't have to change all the settings manually every time. The next highlight of this camera is the display. Not only is it high quality, it also flips up completely. You can use it at a 90-degree angle, for example to shoot on the ground and control the framing. Or you can use it fully flipped up when you're filming yourself. When you turn on the action pot, it automatically connects to the GO Free and the preview image is displayed whether the GO Free is in the action pot or not. If the GO Free is in the action pot, you can take it out even when the action pot is on, and the preview image will continue to be displayed without interruption. Now, you can attach the GO Free somewhere, for example to your helmet or chest, and use the action pot to check the framing or to start or stop a recording from a distance. Keep in mind that the action pot has a range of about 5 meters. So if you move more than 5 meters away from the camera, the connection could be lost. The action pot is not waterproof. You can't go diving or snorkeling with it. It is splash-proof, but only if the GO Free is in the action pot. When the GO Free is not installed, you should keep it away from any moisture or water. The GO Free, on the other hand, is waterproof up to 5 meters, so it's great for the pool or snorkeling. The easy operation through the action pot is one of the best new features of the GO Free. When you swipe from top to bottom, you open the main menu. If you swipe up from the bottom, you can change the most important recording settings: resolution, frame rate and aspect ratio. Swiping from the right edge to the left opens the menu with the more advanced shooting settings, such as exposure or white balance. If you swipe from the left edge to the right, you will see a preview of your videos. You can also play them with sound and delete them if you want. If you tap on the bottom right corner, where it says Ultra in my case, you can change the field of view. So how big should the viewing angle be? If you tap on the camera icon, you can change the recording mode. By the way, you can also change the shooting mode by swiping to the left or right. So not from the outer edge like before, but rather in the middle to the left or right. And the Go 3 has a whole range of interesting and useful shooting modes. There are the shooting modes video, photo, HDR photo, interval, star-lapse, loop recording, slow motion, time shift, time-lapse, and free-frame video. In other words, a whole lot. It does not make sense to go into detail about all the modes now. However, in order to exploit the potential of this camera, you should know exactly how the free-frame video mode works and what the advantages and disadvantages of this mode are. As already mentioned, in free-frame video mode, you can still adjust the framing, the field of view and the aspect ratio after recording. Therefore, in this mode, it does not matter which field of view you have set at the bottom right. In addition, the 360 horizon lock is only available in this mode. This means that no matter how you turn the camera, the horizon will always be straight. However, this mode also has disadvantages compared to the video mode. The highest possible resolution of 2.7K and thus the absolute best possible image quality is only available in standard video mode. Even though I have to say that the difference in image quality is rather small. And in free-frame video mode, you have to import all recordings into the app. Set the framing and the field of view, and only then can you export and use them. The actual advantage therefore leads to an additional step. Nevertheless, I am a fan of this mode, which is a particular strength of the Go 3. So let's look at how to adjust framing and field of view in free-frame video mode. You can do this using the smartphone app and the Insta360 Studio desktop app. I think most people will use the smartphone app for this. With the second icon from the left, you open your recordings. The camera icon at the bottom left of each recording tells you whether it is a free-frame video or not. You open your video and playback starts automatically. When you stop playback, a menu with a series of icons appears. With this icon, you can change the aspect ratio of your recording. The ingenious thing is that the Go 3 has a square sensor. You can therefore change the image format from 16:9 to 9:16 or even to 1:1 without any cropping. This is extremely useful for social media. If you tap on this icon here, you have the possibility to change the field of view of your shot. You have the choice between ultra-wide, action view or linear. Ultra-wide and action view are two extremely wide fields of view. Ultra-wide is the typical wide field of view of the Go 3. In the case of action view, the field of view is slightly larger at the top and bottom edges. At the sides, on the other hand, it is rather narrower, and there are also heavy distortions at the sides. This field of view is particularly suitable for POV action shots. Linear is also a very wide field of view. Here, however, the distortions of the fisheye lens are greatly reduced. Only in free-frame video mode do you have the choice of freely adjusting the field of view after recording. If you now tap and hold on the image, a yellow cross appears. You now have the possibility to adjust the framing with your finger. However, as this is not a 360 image, your freedom is rather limited, as you reach the outer edge of the image relatively quickly. When you take your finger off the screen, a small yellow dot appears. You now have the possibility to rotate the image freely and without cropping. All you have to do is swipe to the left or right on this dashed bar here at the bottom. As soon as you are satisfied with your rotation, tap on the image and the playback will continue. The yellow dot with the white borders indicates that the keyframe has been created. At a later point in the clip, you can, if you wish, change the rotation of the image or the framing again and create another keyframe. In this case, the rotation will continuously adjust between the first and second keyframe. In this way, you can create a vortex effect, for example. As you can see here, the app has a whole range of other editing features. You can edit the colors, add music, change the speed of your recording, and so on. These features are of course also available for a normal video clip. Once you are happy with your editing, tap Export and export your clip. For the highest possible quality, you need to select Custom and increase the resolution and bitrate to the maximum. The field of view, framing, rotation and aspect ratio can also be adjusted in the Insta360 desktop app. Other features, such as adding music, are only available in the mobile app. Nevertheless, sooner or later, you should connect your Go3 to the PC, if only to transfer the files. After all, your Go3 only has a fixed internal storage. To transfer your files, simply connect the action pod to your PC via the USB-C port and select U-Disk mode. Now the Go3 appears as a drive and you can copy the files to the hard drive or import them into the desktop app. Even though the Go3 is an easy-to-use consumer camera, you can customize the shooting settings in great detail and flexibility. But how should you set up the Go3 for optimal results? The recording settings in video mode and free-frame video mode are very similar. First, you should decide on the resolution and frame rate. To do this, swipe your finger upwards from the bottom edge. On the far left, select the aspect ratio. Don't forget that you can only change it in post in free-frame video mode. For optimal image quality, you should always select the highest possible resolution. In video mode, this is 2.7K. In free-frame mode, 1440p. The following applies to the frame rate. The more frames per second, the smoother the recording looks. 24 and 25 frames per second are mainly selected if the recording is to have a cinematic look. However, the shot will not look as smooth. If you are not sure, I would recommend 30 frames per second to start with. In 1440, by the way, 50 frames per second are still available. This will make the shot look even smoother, and you can even create a slow motion of 50% if you want. Only in standard video mode can you set the stabilization level here. You have the choice between standard, high and max. The higher the stabilization level, the more delayed the preview image will be displayed. High will be sufficient in most cases. In free-frame mode, stabilization only takes place in the app. As we saw earlier, you can open the more advanced capture settings by swiping from the right edge to the left. If you select manual here, you can even adjust all the exposure settings manually. But today I want to show you two free very special and important features in auto mode. The first icon here stands for the color profile. Vivid is a very saturated and high contrast color profile. For more natural colors, select standard. Flat is a strongly desaturated and low contrast color profile. You can use it if you want to edit the colors of the shot yourself. It is interesting that the Go3 also offers a whole range of filters. These are designed for a specific purpose. For example, for snow, the urban environment, and so on. For a start, I would recommend Vivid. Under EV, you can set whether the camera should expose the image a little brighter or darker. Depending on the situation, a slightly negative value can be advantageous to prevent bright areas in the image from burning out. You can then set the field of view using the icon at the bottom right. Here too, in video mode, you can no longer change the field of view after the shot has been taken. There are also a few important and interesting features hidden in the main camera menu. You swipe with your finger from the top edge downwards and you see a number of icons for quick access. Here you can activate voice commands. The Go3 recognizes, for example, the voice commands start recording, stop recording, or shut down camera. If you swipe to the left and open the settings menu, you can change the assignment of the Go3 button. You can assign a different shooting mode to the button of the Go3. A special strength of the Go3 is its mounting system and the many different ways to mount this camera. The Go3 has a magnet on its back. You can therefore attach it to a wide variety of metallic surfaces without an additional mount. But be careful, not everything that looks like metal actually contains a lot of metal. So always check carefully whether the camera really holds before you let it go. And then the Go3 also has a quick release mount. That means when you attach it to a quick release base, the mount locks into place and the camera won't fall off even if you shake it hard. Perfect for action. You remove the camera from the mount by pressing the buttons on both sides. Always make sure the camera is locked in place before using it. The quick release mount is great because it allows you to quickly take the Go3 off of one mount and securely attach it to another mount. And best of all, the action pod also has the same quick release mechanism as the Go3. So if you use the Go3 in the action pod, you can also securely and quickly attach the action pod in the same way. Insta360 offers a whole range of interesting additional mounts so that you can really mount the Go3 anywhere and flexibly. And the Insta360 mounts are the next absolute highlight. 3 of them are included in the standard package. How can you best use them? I will now briefly explain. The Easy Clip is designed to attach to slim objects, typically on the front of a baseball cap. This way you can easily take a POV shot. Other attachment possibilities would be, for example, on a headband or on a cat collar. Personally, I find the magnetic pendant more interesting. You wear it like a necklace under your t-shirt. It contains a relatively strong magnet, so you can easily attach the Go3 to your t-shirt at chest height. This works great and is also relatively stable. To change the angle, there is now also such an adjustment insert. POV shots usually look much better at chest level than when you attach the camera to your head. But by far the best mount in the box is the pivot stand. This basically consists of two parts. An upper part that you can unscrew and that has a quick release mount, so you can attach the Go Free or the Action Pod to it. The mount has a fully rotatable hinge and a tripod thread on the bottom. You can attach it to almost all Insta360 mounts and accessories. For example, to a pole like this one. If you don't have a pole yet, I can definitely recommend this pole from Insta360. It's small when pushed together, lightweight and well made. You can find a link to it in the video description. The lower part of the pivot stand consists of a round disc, which you can attach to flat, clean surfaces relatively stable, almost as if it were glued. Of course, this won't last forever. After use, you can wash off the surface and simply use it again. And another really cool feature that you should definitely know about. But for that, we need to open the Insta360 app again. Especially if you're not a video editing expert, the app offers you a whole bunch of features to make this step easier. Under Stories, you will find the flash cut feature. Here, you simply select a theme, for example Dream Road Trip, then the clips of the Go Free that you want to use, and the app quickly and easily creates a cool short edit of your footage. Brand new and even more advanced is Auto Edit. Just like before, you select your clips, but unlike before, they are then analyzed in detail by AI. The app looks for highlights and adjusts the editing, colors and transitions to the content of your clips. So you don't have to worry about editing at all, and the result is cool and worth watching. So give it a try. As you can see, the Go Free is a fantastic little camera that is incredibly flexible. Its strengths lie particularly in the fact that it can really be attached anywhere and that this allows for especially creative shots. There are a number of interesting videos with really creative ideas for the Go Free. Take a look at some of them if you're looking for ideas. I think you now know everything you need to know to have a lot of fun with this camera. If this video was helpful to you, give me a like as feedback. There will be more videos on the Go Free. So stay tuned and see you next time.